What's up? What's up? Sorry I'm late again, guys. I promise I'll get better. I was I didn't realize Baron was going live this evening for whatever reason, and so I had to finish him up first, and then I had to get ready real quick to get this started. But better late than never. I'm here, and let's get right into it. Before we go into the Mitch Snow thing, I I don't know who all watched Candace earlier, um, but I tell you what, right from the get go, she dropped a nuke. I thought anyway. Pretty big news, pretty big stuff. I got a couple clips I want to play, but I want to start out first with the clip from the Sean Ryan show where he interviewed Brian Harpo, and he was talking about the all the pre-planning and stuff for the security for UVU. So let me play this clip real quick, and we'll see what he has to say, and then we'll get into it a little bit.
Let's move into the threat assessment and the pre-planning for the event.
Absolutely.
How many days prior were you guys there?
We generally, the permitting process and all that goes on behind the scenes. And then there's a questionnaires that are filled out that there was a lot of busy work. And then so, kind of like in the military, what you did, we create forms that, hey, let's get this information up front. Mm-hmm. And so that we have a duplication process so that we can confirm it. And so we started our first, before that one, the 24th of the month prior.
Okay, so the event at UVU was on September the 10th, and so he just asked him when they started planning for the security for it, and he said the 24th of the month before, so the 24th of August, which would have been a couple weeks ahead of time. He goes on to explain, I'll play a little bit more. He goes on to explain how some of the planning begins even earlier than that, but that they started hard and heavy on the 24th of August. So they were really, really into it deep 2 weeks beforehand.
And so, and that was with the hard conversations, meetings.
You started that on the 24th?
Mm-hmm. Right. And we
That's
do
2 weeks.
At
really?
least. No, well, it started before that with the intelligence gathering and all that. But the hard conversations, the sharing of information, the conference calls, the data sheets, and we put that in a timeline on an app.
All right, that's enough. Anyway, so he talks about all the timelines and the data share and the communications. All that starts before even that 24th of August date he gave. So yeah, there's no doubt that it wasn't some surprise that just kind of snuck up on them. And so any events that were scheduled after the UVU event, one would think that by the time Charlie went to that event that the planning had already been started and things had already been put in motion for like I said, upcoming events. So let's listen to this clip of Candace Owens at the beginning of her show and see what y'all think. I'll tell you what I think.
Well, interestingly enough, I received a tip from someone that was directly involved with the planning of an event that Charlie Kirk was supposed to attend the following day on September 11th. The day after his assassination, Charlie was slated to speak in Woodland Park, Colorado at the Charis Bible College. Okay, so that's in Woodland Park, Colorado. He was slated to speak there. And according to this person, after Charlie got assassinated, there was a bit of a panicked meeting that took place, which was headed by the chief of police. They decided to transform this event into a vigil. And they were panicked because, believe it or not, they had absolutely no security plan in place.
No security plan in place. That is crazy. Why would they not have a security plan in place? Seems like maybe they knew that he wasn't going to make that
Thought,
one.
how odd. We don't have a security plan in place. Now we better consider this. And we need to make sure that we have police officer involvement. Why didn't Dan Flood and Brian Harpole and Turning Point USA's security have any coordination with the police department up in Colorado? If this is what they normally do, and whatever the way he over describes that, and they get the plan, and everybody can access and start to begin to speak, and then we speak to the police. I mean, we do all this stuff. We just didn't think to do that for the event that he had the next day. No police officer involvement scheduled, nothing. Suddenly they're panicked because they realize they don't have anything scheduled. Yeah. So the police chief apparently decided to take measures himself to make sure that the vigil went off without a hitch. That's what I mean. When you lie a lot and when you're planning things you're not supposed to be planning, you don't think through every detail. Yeah, as in the next day. If you expected Charlie to make it to September 11th, you would have been communicating about what he was doing up at the Therese Bible College. Anyways, moving on to other news. Well, interestingly enough, I received a tip.
Wow. That's crazy. Yeah. Not that they don't already have enough questions to answer at this point, but the whole security team, but especially Brian Harpole and I'm sorry, Miss Erica, have really got some questions to answer there. And I hope people really, really put the screws to them and put the pressure on them so they will answer those. But I don't see how. I just don't see any way in the world that there is that there's going to be a good answer for that. It really seems like they knew he wasn't going to be there. They knew he wasn't going to make it. Barron says it all the time, and I 110% agree. He thinks that possibly they had 3 or 4 backups, backups for the backups, and that that the plan was, and they all knew, no matter what, Charlie Kirk was not leaving UVU, or at least not alive. Yeah, so I mean, knowing that, you wouldn't be too worried about planning for the security for the event the next day. So I don't know. I thought that was crazy. I know a lot of people watch her. Most people probably caught that, but I really wanted to point that out just in case anybody jumped in there late on her stream or just didn't get to watch it yet. I wanted to bring that up because that was just that's crazy to me. I just, yeah, just hard to believe. Well, no, I say it's hard to believe. It's not now. Now it's more like just more of the same, what you come to expect from these people. All right. Well, I tell you what, I'm not going to go super long, but we will jump into do a little bit of Mitch Snow. Let's see here. I should have had that one ready to go. Give me 1 second, and I'll get that clip up and ready to go. I'm almost there. Sorry about that. Amateur hour. I knew I was going to forget at least one thing. Oh, where is that clip? Okay. Okay, let's see. First clip I was gonna do was at okay. And this is for any of those people that question this guy's integrity or think that he is lying about all his history. Yeah, so people have been questioning the guy's motives, of course, and his integrity and all that. And basically at the end of the day, the what people are trying to insinuate is that you can't believe him because he's a bad guy. You can't believe him because he's mean to his wives. Now, I absolutely don't agree with abusing your wife, and I would never, of course, you know, um, take up for him in that regard. But now, what does that have to do with what he saw? And just because he has made some mistakes doesn't mean that he didn't see what he said. And you know, I don't know. At the end of the day, I think the guy's credible. When you listen to him, he doesn't seem like somebody that's lying. Um, I've heard different pieces of this from different interviews. The story's pretty consistent, and I don't know. He just comes across as credible. That being said, what's always in question is the goings on between him and his wives. He keep talking about how he beats his wife, he abuses his wives, he attacked her with a hammer, all this stuff. And so one thing, when Gary Melton interviewed him, of course, he asked about the hammer. Alex Jones put that clip on, talked about the hammer. So, and one important point is, if you watch that video, I didn't load that one up tonight. You can find it on X, or we can do that again another night. But if you actually watch that video, the man never comes at her with a hammer. He takes and just pops the car one time. She's okay. Maybe you shouldn't have done that, but it's far from attacking her with a hammer. And then watch the video. She locks him out in the garage. So yeah, he beats the doorknob off to try to get the house. But all that aside, he talks about how not only was she holding the camera, she was holding a loaded gun. Now, why did this not get mentioned? Why did Alex Jones not mention this? Why did Gary Melton not answer this? Well, I can tell you why. That's not really helpful to the narrative that they're trying to push. I'm not trying to defend this guy, but well, maybe I am in a way. I'm not going to defend, any mistakes that he's made. If he has done any of this stuff that they say he's done, terrible, horrible, but I think the public deserves both sides and a better understanding of what happened, so they can make their own decision and not just, go by what Gary Melton's saying. So yes, she had a loaded gun in her hand. I mean, maybe he was holding the hammer because he was afraid she was going to shoot him. Maybe he thought he was going to have to use it. Like I said, all he ended up doing was putting a little dent in her car. I don't know. It's crazy. All that to say, I don't know if anybody caught this or not, but after that incident, he took a polygraph test, and Stu Peters got a copy of it. He sent Stu Peters a copy of it, and he passed the polygraph test, and they asked him specifically about the gun. So I'll tell you what, I'm going to pull that up. We'll watch a few minutes of it. just so you know, I'm not blowing smoke. We'll do that, and then we'll talk some more about it.
You said originally, did you say that the woman that was holding the camera was also holding a pistol in her other hand? She had a
Oh yeah,
handgun?
not the first time. Yeah, not the first time. I believe that we've supplied you with the polygraph that I've taken.
Okay, you should be able to read that, but in case, I'll at least read parts of it here. On December 22nd, 2023, I conducted a polygraph test on Mitchell Snow. Snow was using this polygraph to counter false allegations that he said had been made against him. He also included an issue of criminal behavior. He also included an issue of criminal behavior committed by his estranged wife against him.
Yeah,
Okay, so some of the questions were, are you hiding any marital assets? Response, no. Did Lanny put a gun to your head and then pull the trigger? Response, yes. Okay. Snow began the interview by telling me that he had been going through a divorce, blah, 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 blah. He told me that he felt that by taking and hopefully passing the polygraph test, it would demonstrate that he had been falsely accused. Okay.
And so,
it's all in there.
The test was then conducted. Given Snow's anxiety over the issues being tested, it was difficult to obtain clean data. After administering 5 charts, which were then reviewed, sufficient scoreable data was obtained, allowing me to state that when Snow answered no to 3 of the relevant questions and yes to 1 of the questions, there were no significant psychological responses that would indicate those answers were deceptive. And right there's the signature, polygraph examiner. So, you know, oh man, whenever Gary and Alex Jones and I mean even Valhalla, and I like Valhalla, I feel a lot different towards Gary than I do him. I think Gary's just straight up evil. I think Valhalla just, I don't know. I think he got swindled into doing what he did. But regardless, but when these people were going on air and then stating allegations as fact, to me that did not give the guy a fair shake. And again, none of this really matters at the end of the day. He's already proved he went where he said he went when he said he was there. All that's left now to be proved is did he see who he says he saw? And I'm telling you right now, I know it's coming. It will not be long. It's going to get proven. It will get proven. Let's see here. So let me pull up another clip if I can find it. Okay. I'm going to see if this is right. If this is not, I'm sorry. Let's see. Y'all don't want to watch me looking for it. Might make you dizzy watching me go back and forth. I'm sorry, guys. Good Lord. My timestamps that I wrote down, just some of them got a little screwed up, obviously. All right, I tell you all what, I'm going to go on to another clip. Maybe I might come back to that one. I don't want to make this super long anyway, so let me get to these and then so we can get this thing done. Okay. Found it. Found one of them anyway.
With what you saw in Fort Huachuca. And if Alex Jones or Evan Kilgore or Morgan Ariel or Valhalla or Gary Melton, who, by the way, Gary Melton on the phone as he's trying to cozy up to you and build this fake rapport while
Gary's an asshole.
he was fully intent on going online and just trashing you from the very beginning, which was proven because he acted and did that prior to you having any time to provide documentation. They're acting like you have to be perfect. And I said this in the lead up to our conversation. And this is also something that you said to me on the phone. And that just resonates with me. These people act like you have to have a completely unblemished, perfect history, a perfect life, a halo over your head, that you're the king, that you're God, if you're going to be able to report on your first person experiences and what you saw with your own eyes. And that I know that there is proof of, because aside from whatever you want to say about photographs or videos and what's in Candace's possession, which I have a pretty good idea, I also know other things that you have told me about Fort Huachuca and their surveillance capabilities. So why would you come out and say such things, having personal knowledge of the capabilities of the cameras that are at Fort Huachuca? Why would you do that?
Yeah, if I could be debunked, they have all the power to go ahead and do so. They have all the information there if they want to release it.
You know, wouldn't that be the ultimate alibi? I don't guess anybody's necessarily accusing these people of being there, but the questions have been asked. Were you there? And so instead of coming up with these half-ass alibis that they've been given to try and show they weren't there, which they have not proven at all, you would think a a powerful organization like TPUSA that literally got the president and vice president elected this last election cycle, you would think that they could go to somebody and say, hey, I need a little video footage from the lobby of the hotel, the Candlewood Inn and Suites at Fort Huachuca on the evening of September the 8th, to prove that I was never in that lobby in Erica's case. And the same thing for Brian Harpole for the next day. I got a feeling that would be easy enough to come up with. I really do. And especially since her mother's got a working relationship on that base. And that's proven. There's no question about that. Nobody's argued that fact. So why don't they do that? I have yet to see any of that footage come out. Or maybe that footage wouldn't prove that she wasn't there. Maybe that footage would prove the point. And again, I think they're on video anyway. I really, really do. All right. Let's go on to another one real quick.
Happened. But anyways, take us back to the lobby. So there you are.
So yeah, I was checking into the lobby. I noticed a guy that was there. I noticed him because he had a different sheen. I mean, you could tell there's young Army troops there that were staying there temporarily, probably at the hotel. They were over in the dining area. This man was singled out. He was sitting on the couch in the lobby. He looked, he had a certain stature to him that sort of stood out. I noticed the watch he was wearing. Well groomed, and he was playing with his watch.
You noticed the watch. Why did you notice the watch? What was significant about that? Okay.
You got to pay close attention.
Do you know now what kind of watch it was?
See that look?
Yeah. Fairly certain. Yeah, it was a nice watch.
You think he knows what kind of watch the man was wearing? And if he's that certain about the watch that he was wearing, think maybe he could recognize him? Maybe he doesn't even remember just by seeing it what the watch was. Maybe he went back to some pictures that he's got and was able to go back and look at the watch and decide what kind of watch it was. Telling you, these people are on camera.
Well-built, pragmatic, pro altimeter.
Have you done your investigating since on the watch? And because people are saying, oh, well, that's Cabot Phillips. Is this the guy that you saw? And you said, yeah, that's the guy that I saw. Have you done any investigation into Cabot Phillips and his publicly available, documented, photographed history to see if he was wearing that watch in any other photos outside of what you witnessed at Fort Huachuca?
No, I haven't had any interest. I've seen what I've seen and I've left it at that.
That's different than me. I got to admit, I'd be all wrapped up in this. If I saw what I saw and I knew the implications, I would be all wrapped up in this. So you're a better man than I am for being able to stay focused on what it is that you're really doing in life here, which is trying to get back with your son. And by the way, just as an aside here, this whole situation with you, for those that want to say that you're seeking.
This is really important. This right here, to me, this right here totally just throws that narrative that's being pushed right out the window. Because this right here says so much. Everybody, well, not everybody, but certain ones keep talking about how he just wants the fame, wants the notoriety, wants to make a name for himself, this, that, and the other. Well, I mean, it's a proven fact that he is trying to get his son back. I mean, there's court records to show that. So he is definitely trying to get his son back.
Attention. This doesn't do a whole lot to help in support of that mission to get your son back, does it?
No, this is, no, this is unfortunately, me and Candace Owens, we talked about this. It's going to be aggravating, but it's also going to be revealing, and it's going to be a painful process, and you guys have all witnessed it now. No, I think it's aggravated the situation. There's been a lot of, none of this stuff had to come out. I've never mentioned these people, why they had to do this or feel the need to. Oh, that's yeah, it's just so sad on them. They, yeah, as far as like investigating stuff, I'm leaving that up to you guys. I think the internet's getting pretty keen on things, and hell of a lot better than the FBI, from what I can tell.
All right. So I'm sorry to frustrate the audience with, stopping your Fort Huachuca testimony recap again. But I think that these are important things. So, I think that as I'm thinking of them, they should be documented, because this whole thing has just become so ridiculous. The way that they have tried to paint you as who you are, and this attention seeker and this narcissist and a hammer attacker and a violent, it's absolutely absurd. And it should be criminal for these people to do these types of things. But I digress. You see him, he's got a sheen. You recognize that, oh, that's a nice watch because you're a watch guy. Take us from there.
Yeah, nice shoes too. From there, I went to my room, dropped off a few things, came back out. That's when I noticed, the woman with those eyes and ponytail, meeting that man on the couch. And as I went up to the front desk and was asking a question, I was also on the phone with Amy here, and yeah, that's where I sort of gasped. I had to tell her I was okay, that it was nothing.
How far away from Erica were you?
And for anybody that doubts the eye thing, that he recognizes her because of her eyes, that they're, 1 in a million or whatever, and there's just not any other people that have eyes like that. For anybody that doubts that, I don't know if y'all have seen the pictures of, there's a close up with his ex-wife's eyes close up, and actually Erica Kirk's they're right there together. A comparison. I'm going to show that to you real fast. Yeah, it's crazy because it is a very odd, rare color. Yeah, let me show you this. I mean, look at that. No, they're not the same eye, but look at the color. I mean, they're almost identical. And I even got Grok to remove the glasses to see what they look like that. But yes, I believe if he got a glimpse at her eyes, he would have, yes, it would have been something to remember, because there are just not many people out there that have eyes like that. That is crazy. That is crazy how similar those eyes are. Crazy.
Oh, front desk is like maybe 10 feet to the couch. 10.
And was she already seated on the couch by the time that you noticed her? Did you see her walking?
No, she walked past me. Walked past in front of me.
How close did she?
Sat on the couch.
How close did she pass by you?
And again, I'm fairly certain it was her.
I am too.
Now I don't want to. And if it wasn't, okay. Again, it's a tip. investigate, see where people were. If it's of any interest, from what I've understood, there's her family has a long history of being there now, and so does
Yep.
TPUSA. So what's the big secret? I don't get it. I happen to be there.
If you were bringing your
They could have said any of a million things. I mean, literally could have said that she was just going by to check on her mama because her mama supposedly was in the hospital on September the 10th. If y'all remember, she could have. There are so many things that she could have said, reasons that she could have pulled out of her ass, anything that probably would have just made this go away instead of trying to prove that she wasn't there. It would have just been so much easier to say, yeah, I was there and here's why. And all this probably would have just died down and gone away.
mom lunch, Lori Francevy, who has deep connections to Fort Huachuca through her tech firm, E3 Tech, and through EMP-proof technology that's tested at Fort Huachuca. And if it was really that innocent, then why not just say that? But the fact is they're not saying that. And the fact is they haven't even really answered the allegations as to whether or not they were there at all. They just had some random YouTuber show some picture of a couple of kids with a finger over them. And by the way, a photograph that was dated September 9th. And I think that it's important for the record here to state that Mitch isn't saying that he saw Erica Kirk in the lobby on Fort Huachuca on September 9th. He has from the beginning said that he witnessed this Cabot Phillips, Erica Kirk lounge meeting on the 8th of September. So she walks in front of you, she goes over, she sits down, describe the couch, describe what they were wearing, the walk, the shoes. You said you noticed his shoes. What kind of shoes was he wearing? What brought your attention to all this? And then how did their conversation go?
But you could tell that he was waiting on her. She sat knees together, hands.
I think that's most of the important stuff. He rambles on and he goes over some more of the details. And, I'm going to say it again. The details that he gives, I mean, he gave a lot of these details when Candace Owens interviewed him. I mean, I've actually heard him speak about this in other places also. His story stays pretty consistent. He's either the best liar in the world or he saw what he says he saw. And I'm really believing that he saw who he says he saw or thinks he saw. It's just crazy. Like they could have come up with any of a million excuses of why they were there and just let this thing blow over. But instead, they just drag it on. And then instead of sending something directly to Candace, she sends a picture to Andrew Colvett, who sends the picture to the random YouTuber, Gary from Paramount Tactical. And then he shares it with the audience and turns out it's not even her kids. And we know this because that little boy in that picture is way older than her little boy would be. So, there's that. And then Brian Harpost sending these flight itineraries. I mean, that really doesn't mean anything. All that means is the ticket was bought for a particular flight. That doesn't mean you got on that flight. I'm going to say the same thing many people have also said. There's no telling how many flights I bought tickets for, got an itinerary and everything, and then ended up not going for whatever reason. So yeah, they could have just made this whole thing go away. Just said they were there for some dumb, innocent reason, and that probably would have been that. But they are digging their hole, and I'm telling you, I believe that's all that Candace is doing, is letting them dig their hole good and deep. And then hopefully before much longer, she's going to drop the rest of it. Why do you think that Mitch had that smirk on his face when he said, I've turned all the stuff over to Candace. I'm going to let her do what she does. So yeah. Anyway, I don't want this to turn into an hour and a half, 2 hours. I really wanted to bring up the thing with Candace. That to me is just crazy and kind of devastating. I mean, like they got some serious answers, or yeah, she got serious questions to be answered. Not that they didn't have enough already. And then the whole Mitch thing. I mean, like, I'm tired of hearing about his character and what he's done in his life. You get on X, and that's all there is from, that particular crowd. But none of those people ever mentioned the fact that, for one, his wife at the time not only was holding a camera, but was holding a pistol. And then at some point after that, he went and took a polygraph test to prove that he was not lying about all the stuff that had been going on, and aced the polygraph test. Now, is the polygraph test 100%? No. We all know that. But most people can't just pass a polygraph test if they're lying about things. And I don't know, when you compare that with the consistency that he's had when he's told these stories, and I'm sorry, but when you sit there and listen to him, I mean, he's definitely not nervous. He seems to be solid. He seems to be honest. So I don't know. I guess we'll find out soon. I wanted to jump on for a little while. I wanted to share my thoughts with you on those, and tell you what, I will be back on. Today's Thursday. I may get back on tomorrow night, but if not, for sure Saturday night. I've got some other stuff that I've been putting together kind of in the background, trying to decide when to do it, and I may do some of that either tomorrow night or Saturday night. And then just keep in mind, remember, I'm still working on it, still going on in the background. But I am still working on that interview with the Accurate Energy Solutions plant, the plant here in Tennessee that was leveled not long after September the 10th. I'm still working on that in the background, working on getting that interview done, so I can bring that to y'all. I think that's going to be really enlightening. Should be really good. So yeah, I appreciate everybody that come out and watched, and everybody that will watch. And I'm going to get out of here and go to bed, and I will see y'all tomorrow or Saturday.